It is a privilege to speak on behalf of my brothers and sisters this morning. We raised our children in a home with a very large oak tree in the backyard. It was a massive tree, provided shade and beauty to our home. It was well over 100 years old. It was by far the largest tree in the 8 acres of woods behind our house. It took multiple people to connect arms around the massive base of the tree. It had one problem. Long before I was born, in its early life, something happened that caused it to have a large cut all the way up its massive trunk. I suspect it was a lightning strike. For all its years, it carried that wound. Nonetheless, it was still a strong, enormous tree that stood watch over us. My children will testify that we called it Pawpaw's tree. When the tree finally died, we carefully took it down, piece by piece, because while it was not exactly close to our home, I couldn't measure the true height of the tree in relationship to the distance from our home. Bottom line, it's hard to measure the height of a tree until it's down. My father, John Koehler, although he was always the shortest in our family, was a massive man. It is often just as hard to measure the height of a man until he has fallen. Like the oak tree, John Koehler had a scar he carried growing up in a family of 12 children. Due to his mother passing away when he was only a toddler, he lacked the lessons that only a mother could teach. While he learned to work hard from his dad, it took him years to learn to express love. It was only after 50 years of marriage, taking care of our mother as she battled cancer, that Dad's heart began to even be able to express the words, "I love you," to anyone but her. Like the oak tree, his job centered on providing shade, cover, and protection over his family. His massive reach not only provided for his wife of 50 years and his 7 children, but 47 grandchildren and great-grandchildren. His love for his own brothers and sisters and their children was evident in the fact that he made sure they were always included in family celebrations. As the family business that he and Mom started together grew, his constant comment about his brother Irby, who helped him begin his career as a toolmaker, was always, "I wish Irby could see all this." His concern was always for sharing his success with others. Like the oak tree, he was a silent giant, a man of very few words. When our company was honored by the city for its growth, they actually asked Dad to stand and speak. He couldn't do it. That was not what Dad did. Dad was not a man of words, but work. He simply kept his head down and worked harder. So much that when he did speak, it shook the ground. I can remember him visiting our home for a Saturday morning breakfast just after Mom passed away. My wife and I laughed about it just this past Sunday. We distinctly remember him leaving our house on that day 18 years ago. If you knew Dad, you knew this. You don't drive on his grass while pulling in and out of the driveway. Never, ever drive on the grass. As Dad got into the car that day, he quickly squirted out unfamiliar words for him. He said, "I love you," and then he quickly pulled away. It rocked me, but only as much as watching him go directly over my front lawn. didn't know he'd broken his own rule. Then he just proceeded to back up over the lawn and stopped outside our garage. The door opened, he popped his head out. And the words that I will never forget came out in an awkward manner. He shouted, "I'm proud of you." And then just as quickly, he was back in his car driving over the grass again. He was like a small child who had just discovered his hands and the power they possess, but still awkwardly learning how to use these new words he found in his toolbox. I can tell you that over the last 18 years, words like, "I love you," "I'm proud of you," and "thank you for everything you do" became second nature to a man who spent his life quietly providing for others with his hands. Like the rugged bark on that oak tree, you normally had to look at Dad's hard, calloused hands to understand the love that was in his heart. In these last years, it was so different to hold his soft hands and hear his soft words. When Dad moved into a care facility 2.5 years ago, it was Kara who walked in one night to see Dad sitting in the dining room eating dinner alone. She came to us the next day at KK Tool and said, "While I believe channeling my mother, I never want to see that again." For the last 2.5 years, Paula and Kara made sure that one of us 6 kids visited Dad each night from 4:30 to 8 p.m., had dinner, sat with him, and made sure he was safely headed to bed. By my calculations, each one of us had dinner with Dad well over 100 times each since December of 2016. Paula and Kara, those dinners gave us boys a priceless gift that we can never repay. None of us will ever have to regret not spending time with our Dad. For that, Kevin, Keith, Chris, and I are eternally grateful. Like the oak tree, Dad was a giver. Many people will never know of his generosity to others in this community. Most of it, if not all, was given quietly, without fanfare or announcement. He loved through action, not words, just like Mom taught him over the 50 years of their marriage. When the tree finally came down in our backyard and continued again, after several years, I'm still using the massive trunk to heat our home. The stump provided a place for our children to play. I know the lessons of John Koehler, the ones he taught his children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and those who worked for him over the years will continue to affect families in the same way for generations and generations. After the oak tree was all the way down, I was shocked at how big it actually was. It was so much bigger than any of us had ever thought. The hole left in the canopy above our woods will take generations to fill. Its ring count was massive, and it could probably tell us of endless stories of storms and trials, drought, plenty, of bad and good days. John Koehler, in his 92 years, saw storms and trials, drought and plenty, good and bad days, and he stood strong through it all. Now that he is down, I know we have only just begun to understand what a massive giant of a man John Koehler